switch to the different screen, but I still don't see anything. Hold on, if you're out there, we're waiting for the stream here.
Okay, so we're on YouTube. Check us on YouTube. It should be. It says we're trying to send the data, but
Why is that removed?
what?
No, I'm losing the internet.
Yeah, YouTube is. Yeah, so we're on YouTube, but it's not on Facebook yet. Hold on, let me.
Why did it say removed?
The API connection has expired on Facebook.
Yeah, I gotta figure out.
Okay. Got some technical difficulties. If you're on YouTube, hold on a second, please.
So when you click on that reconnect that pay,
Yeah, that
error comes up.
well, that's when I kind of go back to when I hit the reconnect, it takes me over to YouTube, so I can log in. I don't know if somebody's got this under his or if it's.
No, it's under. It's on under done right.
You know the password for the. Let me just see. Well, oh yeah.
Restream to done right live.
Let me. Oh, you know what? Let me. Okay.
Yeah, so gotta get into the Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, let me see. Are we? Let me try one thing here. My stream account. Go into this. I'm on the. Go. Come on. Go back far enough to find the. Cause I'm on Done Rights now, and it should be on. From on Sunny's, cause this is the. Oh, we should have Motorsports, but not on live, right?
We got log on. It's off Facebook
Yeah.
on there, isn't it? So, done right Facebook login. Do you know what it is off the top of your head?
I got right. That's what we're on.
Somehow the Facebook got logged off.
Or it's yeah, cause you have to be calculated. Unless I want to turn that on. Hold on. Let me see if this is how.
Unable to
Okay,
connect.
yeah,
So
yeah, so I need to. See, I'll have to reconnect.
yeah, so that'll bring in your Facebook. So
Just put in Done Right Satellite at MSN.
Green flag. Another green flag for the Go Fast podcast here on the Done Right TV, both Facebook and YouTube page. I'm Rob Hinckley along with Kelly Jeffries, Bipster in the house, Kyle Jackson. Brett Severson also joins us, and we got lots to talk about after the weekend of racing down at the Lee County Speedway in Donaldson, and also our Team Done Right cars, both in action over the weekend.
Yes.
So we will talk about them. And Go Fast podcast brought to you by 1-800 Water Damage, restoring what matters most. Varium Racing, if it can race, we'll get it on the track. Bipster Promotions, check it out for podcasts and hosting. Simply Modified, the official track photographer of Maquoketa Speedway. Done Right TV and Dish TV, they can make your smart home smarter. And just check them out at all the social media pages. Also, come on into Done Right, and we will go with the green flag, and we'll start out, as we always do, with our news and results, brought to you by 1-800 Water Damage, restoring what matters most. And we're going to start off. We got lots to talk about from the Lee County Speedway in Donaldson. Hopefully you joined us for our pay-per-view the other night. It was a great time, and we got lots to talk about there, as I mentioned. We'll start out Mississippi Thunder Speedway up in Fountain City, Wisconsin. And I remember when it wasn't called Mississippi Thunder. It was called something else. But anyway, they ran Friday night, 4 classes, all USRA sanctioned. They had 20 late models in the house. Jeremiah Hurst, part of Team Done Right, went up there, got second in his heat, 6th in the feature. Good run for the number 58 Roberts Motorsports machine. And he was all the way up to second at one point, and then ended up finishing 6th. Nitro, James Yossi picked up the feature when he beat out Jake Tim and Justin Ritchie in the late models. We turned our attention to the Lee County Speedway in Donaldson. No, we weren't at the Cedar County Speedway, Cedar County Raceway in Tipton. We'll get into all that as the show progresses. We'll start out in the stock car class. John Oliver Jr. Knows that track better than no other. He was last year's, I believe, National Rookie of the Year for IMCA. He picked up the stock car win with a late lap pass. Cole Mather got second, last year's Dubuque Speedway track champion. Todd Reitzler was third. David Brandy's fourth. Jay Schmidt fifth, in a very entertaining stock car feature. Rounding out the top 10 were the game changer Dallin Murdy, Donaldson's own Jeremy Punt, Tom Cannon, Mitchell Evans, and Jim Redmond. Heat winners were Brandy, Schmidt, and Reitzler. Moving on to the sport mods, what a battle all the way down to the end. Hope you saw it. Brayton Carter, a last turn, last lap pass to beat Sioux City's Cody Thompson to the checker flag. Logan Anderson, the CJ Speedway track champion, started 15th, made his way up to third. Carter Vandenberg was fourth. Ben Chapman, who started 18th, I think he was following Logan Anderson for the most part through the field. He started 18th and rounded out the top 5 at the checker flag. Rest of the top 10 were Tyler Soppy, Gage Neal, Dylan Van Wyck, Tony Olson, and Tyler Inman. Heats went to Vandenberg, Soppy, Blaine Webster, Inman, Van Wyck, and Carter. Yes, they ran 6 of them. The 3 B mains went to the veteran Vern Jackson from Waterloo, Austin Kaplan, and McGuire DeYoung. Moving on to the modifieds. What a run for Michael Long, the Quincy, now Fowler, Illinois driver. Started front row, and he checked out, and he was gone. He won the modified 30-lap feature over late model veteran Chris Simpson. Caden Carter was third. Tom Berry, fourth. Denny Eckrich was fifth. Rounding out the top 10 were Bryce Garnhart, Pahrump, Nevada's Colin Hibden, Austin Howes, Spencer Dirks, and Ethan Braxma. Heat wins went to Dirks, Eckrich, Berry, and Simpson. B-mains went to Johnson and Steve Johnson and Braxma. And they ran 2 King of the Hills, one in the sport mods, and Carter won that, extra $500, and Long had no problem winning the modified King of the Hill. He also picked up an extra $500 and went home with $2,000 after the after the $1,500 he won for the feature. It was scheduled to be $800, and then we had sponsors chip in another $700, and then he picked up $500 for winning King of the Hill. So what a night for Michael Long, going back to the Quincy, Illinois area with $2,000. So that's where we have it. News and results brought to you by 1-800 Water Damage, restoring what matters most. Well, now we move to Around the Track, Around the Room, brought to you by Varium Racing. And everybody, we get to go around the room, talk about what we our racing experiences from the weekend. And Bipster, let's start with you.
Well, I was just happy to be finally smelling race fuel again. So there was a moment that on Saturday night where I was, between staring at the iPad running the stream, that I was like, we're at a racetrack. There's because I wasn't always looking up. I was usually looking at the screen, but I'd look up and like, there's cars on the track. There's dirt in the air. It's finally, there was a big sense of normalcy I felt about it on Saturday night. And yeah, it was weird. It was very weird to be zero fans. Like, that was probably kind of the oddest thing, is where we were sitting, there was no one in front of us. But, Darkside Promotions knocked it out of the park with being able to not only change venues, but, either way, that show, they had thrown together right now, like, that they can make it work. So I'm excited that we worked with them, that hopefully we can continue that relationship and do some more shows for them this summer.
Absolutely. Kelly Jeffries.
Well, just like Bipster said, man, it was so cool to be back out there. It's kind of weird to I got to get me out of my ear now. Sorry.
Can't be in your own head.
Yeah.
No, it's 2 seconds. I did that a couple times Saturday, and it's like
like an echo.
Yeah, from the whole thing when it come down, because we literally had, I think, like 72 hours or 3 or 4 days to begin with, and then we were going to Tipton, and then the day before, Ryan calls me and he's like, man, I got some bad news, and I'm like, dude, and then we canceled and gave everybody their money back, and then he calls me back and says, we got a track, can you do it? And I'm like, what? Come on, are you new? So, and we were off to Donaldson, man, and that was my first time to that track, and it's a great track, great people. I'm honored to work with Ryan and Timmy again. That was our first time with Darkside, last year in the Fall Bash, and it was our first one now with the Spring Fling, and we can only get better as we go on. But to work with a group of people like that just, that's what I'm about, man. We figure out a way, right? You figure out a way how to get stuff done, and that's what it's all about. And they did. They knocked it out of the park. And the drivers, I don't know how they. I just don't know how they move a place 2.5, 3 hours away, and they get actually more cars than were in the beginning. And again, in less than a week. I don't know if it was 3 or 4 days. It was, it was pretty incredible. So honored to be a part of it, and I think there's a good chance we're going to get a couple more of their shows. So we'll get into that later on. But it was just nice to be there, man, and it was awesome to be on the track, and I can't wait until everybody can go there again. It was pretty weird seeing nobody in the stands.
Yeah,
it was really,
nobody
really
yell
weird.
at us.
yeah, you probably liked it. I was like,
Yeah,
none
nobody
of the
yelled at
officials
us.
were getting yelled at because the pit was so far away. You couldn't-
Fred Severson, nobody was yelling at you
Nobody was
Saturday
yelling
night.
at me. I didn't make any mistakes, and I didn't hear anyone making mistakes. So.
What were your thoughts?
Well, I'm gonna pad off what you guys already said. I know I've been with Ryan and Tim for six years, I think, and I know nothing's out of the question with those guys. If they want to put it together, they're going to put it together. And all I can say was a roller coaster week. I got the first call on Monday, said right after the governor was on, Ryan calls me and says, I'm putting on a race somewhere this weekend or next weekend. Half hour later, I got a text message that says, nope, canceled, never mind. Because at that point, they weren't opening up.
Yeah.
So then my next call comes on Wednesday. Cedar County, Saturday night. Okay. Friday morning, I'd look at my phone bright and early, like I'm sure all you guys did, and said, oh, that's done. So noon on Friday, I get another phone call, and one thing you'll learn about Ryan if you work with him a lot is if it's a good message, he starts out, hey, buddy, what you doing? So about noon on Friday, I get this, hey, buddy, can you be in Donaldson tomorrow? I'm like, well, I got to check my schedule, but yeah, I think I can be there.
There might be something else going on.
So, yeah, for these guys to put it together, it doesn't surprise me. And I told Timmy when I got down there Saturday, I said, this is your fault because you said you could do this in less than 36 hours. And I think it was less than 24 for my phone calls. So, and then it was a great weekend. I'm ecstatic about where the cars came. We had so many different tracks represented. We had Burlington, had Columbus Junction, Quad City Speedway guys were down there, Dubuque guys were down there, Farley guys. It just every track around here. Davenport guys. We had Pahrump, Nevada. That was a trip for those guys. So, and I think they left like Thursday,
Friday morning.
Friday morning. Okay.
Friday morning they pulled out.
So I just was, and Tom Barry come down from North Dakota. I don't know if he was in the area already, but I mean, that's quite a trip. So it just, yeah, if anybody can pull it off, those guys can pull it off, and they knocked it out of the park. Yeah. And you guys knocked it out of the park. I can't imagine what you guys went through in 48 hours of the last part of the week. So.
It was interesting, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
It was interesting, but we did pull it off, and we can only get better. So
right.
Thank you. We appreciate the opportunity. All of us did it, and it was a real bummer when we had to call everybody and tell and say that that we weren't going to have it. Just like you said, I mean, we got we're going to put on a race
and
I'm
no
like,
race, and race and no race,
and then race, and then no race, and then boom.
Well, and I mean, I felt like even when we were there Saturday before it started, the whole day I'm like, we're still doing this, right? Like, I'm like, I got this feeling like until I see a car on the track, like, we don't know.
That's what I kept thinking all the way down. Okay, because I ran into some rain about Muscatine and Columbus Junction. I'm like, no way.
We did have a little rain, but that was.
But, that's a dark side tradition, though. I mean, I think just about every dark side race special that I've been to, it's either been super cold or there's been rain, and both.
I would say Fall Bash
or
last
both.
year,
Yeah.
both.
Yeah, that was a cold one, and looking at it, it was one of those things, the emotional roller coaster. I mean, it started. Kelly calls me on Wednesday, and Wednesday night we were here till about 10:30.
Yeah.
Just starting to get stuff organized, getting the website built, and that kind of thing. I won't bore everybody with the details that we had to do, but there were details. And then on Thursday, same thing. We were here till a good part of the evening, and in fact started in the afternoon, just getting things done, going through checklists and all that, and then Friday get the call. And it's just like the big letdown, and then so then Friday afternoon when Kelly calls me again, I kind of reminded me, and I can't remember what his first name is in the movie, but the manager in Major League, when they call him up originally, and said, "Hey, how would you like to manage the Cleveland Indians?" He goes, "Well, I don't know. I got a guy for a set of white walls on the other line," and I was in the middle of fixing a lawnmower when Kelly calls me, and that's kind of what I felt like was Manager Brown. Well, I'm fixing this lawnmower right now, and he says, "Get on the website and fix it. We're racing tomorrow." And he didn't say it like that. He was nice about it, but yeah, just the emotional part of it. And then to watch the fantastic racing, and inside, outside, 3 wide, 4 wide. And we had great camera shots down on the racetrack, and so last lap pass, and guys that we didn't expect to check out in the races check out, and we get to see the veteran Steve Johnson. He won his B main, and Vern Jackson, who is just a little bit younger than Steve Johnson, but not much. And he won a B main, and so just overall a great opportunity. And a great weekend. And so there's Around the Track and Around the Room, brought to you by Varium Racing, as we start our Guess the Driver for this week, and brought to you by Dunright TV and Dish TV. And we're going to start in the first thing. Keep skipping back. I'm watching that also. Somebody's mentioning that keeps skipping back, and I'm seeing the video do that as well. But anyway, our Guess the Driver brought to you by Dunright TV and Dish TV. First of all, he was a driver that was at Donaldson on Saturday night, and his racing hero is the legendary Gary Webb. So that's the first 2 clues.
Ooh, you only have 103 people to choose from.
You only have 103 drivers to choose from.
I believe you might have mentioned this driver during the broadcast, because I remember listening. So if you listen to the broadcast, you should have a big clue, because I remember hearing that statement.
However, using Gary Webb as your favorite hero, I mean, that probably 90 of those 102 could say that.
There's that fact too.
But yeah, there's our first 2 clues on our Guess the Driver, brought to you by Dunright TV and Dish TV. And I had to turn my paper over because somebody actually messaged me after one of the shows. They said they could see it, and they zoomed in. And by the way, we're giving away an Andy Nozworski racing T-shirt. You have to come to Dunright TV, 1414 West Locust Street in Davenport between 10 and 5, Monday through Friday, and pick that T-shirt up. And we're only taking answers on the Dunright TV Facebook page, because I know Kyle has shared it and I've shared it to my personal pages. You need to pick it, or we're taking answers only on the Done Right Facebook page. So now we move on to our on the table, and we've already talked a lot about it. This is brought to you by Bibster Promotions, and of the week, our big talk about is Donaldson and the Lee County Speedway, and getting into the racing part of it. First of all, you know what I liked, Brett Severson, was originally there were 16 stock cars set to go at Tipton, and we even lost a couple of those, but we gained 4 more. We ended up with 20 altogether.
Ended up with 20, and that kind of happened in a lot of the classes. We lost a few, and I think because of the location change, we gained some of the Burlington guys, and I think some of those were on the list. A lot of them were already on the list, but we lost a few off there and gained them, and yes, 20 stock cars. For a day's notice, I was happy. And I know Ryan and Tim were happy with our numbers. It's not, with dark side races are usually 200-300 cars, but 3 classes, 102 cars.
It's hard to,
We only had a couple days.
Right.
Yeah. There's and usually there's more than 12 hours of notice of where you're going to go racing.
And there's a difference between Cedar County track and Lee County, so there's gear changes and. I'm sure some of those didn't want to mess with that.
I know when I ran into Tyler Soppy, ran into him at the gate when we were getting set up, and I was asking him, and he said, yeah, we were practicing the day before, and they go, we don't have a gear for this track, so his mom was burning down the gear because they didn't want to go all the way back home.
Right.
But, so it was that same thing where if you were all set up to go to one track, you had to make changes, and some guys don't run, it kind of seems like Southeast Iowa, and this is like, the novice in me. There was more bigger tracks down there. Right. They all seem bigger, so it's a lot of the guys from up here, you're having to make some drastic changes, and I even saw some guys on Facebook throwing out, like, I don't have a gear for that. Oh, I have a gear you can use. So you kind of saw some, racers helping each other out to make sure they could put on a good show Saturday.
Well, when West Liberty closed down years ago, I mean, that was our half-mile track. And so a lot of those guys, when they knew they weren't racing every week, they didn't rebuy all their half-mile stuff. So, I know Columbus Junction is pretty good sized. So whoever runs there would be
a lot of
down there. And
a lot of those cars were Columbus Junction cars. I saw them last year down at CJ. So those stock cars, they like the big track.
They do like the big track, and they get going. I mean, anybody that says stock cars are boring they're a fool, because I mean they're exciting. They put on a good show. They're fast. It's good. It's good stuff.
Definitely. Hey, good evening, everyone that's joining us, and Chuck Hobbs. You know what? You're with us every single week, and last week I was gonna call you out and say hi, and you always comment, and we appreciate you, Chuck. We're gonna have you on here really, really soon. As your season gets closer, all of our seasons get closer to get going. We talked stock cars a little bit. Well, John Oliver Jr. He won the feature. He just flat nosed that racetrack.
Oh yeah, and I said watching hot laps. Brandy's, Reitzler, and Oliver were running together in hot laps. I said, "There's your winner. One of those 3 guys is gonna," and all 3 of them were in contention. So
right. Well, Reitzler started on the front row, and he led the first part of the race. And but our buddy from Dubuque, Cole Mather, what a run he had! Second place, Bibster.
Yeah.
And that is brand new Legion chassis.
Yeah, which is it tells you a lot, because usually. We haven't even had that many chances to go practice, so a lot of guys hadn't been on the track at all. I know you guys were talking on the broadcast about, Corey brought up the fact that the first time out on the track, you usually remember that bolt you forgot about. We saw some guys in hot laps that had forgot about the bolt in a drive shaft or things, but yeah, to come out and to put on that good of a run against that kind of a competition, coming all the way down from Dubuque, I thought I had a long drive home.
Yeah,
you put another hour on that to try and get back to Dubuque. So
now I know Cole Mather. He had been on the track. He practiced at Independence.
Okay.
And that was a brand new car, and he got it up. And the top 5, and Brett mentioned most of these. Oliver won it. Mather got second. Reitzler started in the front row, got third. Brandy's he drew number 12, I think.
Terrible.
He wins his heat and draws number 12.
And I think he drew terrible in the in the heat races too. So he worked for it.
Right, and Jay Schmidt got 5th, and then you look down at Jeremy Punt, the Donaldson hometowner. He got 7th in that, and Mitchell Evans. I felt bad for him. He's from Independence. I think he cracked the wall in hot laps, and he spun out in his heat race and all that, and he ended up finishing ninth, so you just didn't know where anybody was going to finish, did you, Kelly?
No, I didn't know where we were going to finish. I didn't know where we were going to start. Actually. I mean,
There's truth.
you know, and
Kelly's in executive producer mode all the time.
it was the
great.
same for us, right? I mean, because this was our first show. It was our, you know, so we were trying to dot all our I's and cross all our T's, and then it come to showtime, you know, and so we were ready, but there was a couple adjustments we had to make when we first got going during hot laps, and you know, we appreciate everybody's patience. I mean, like I said, it's no different for us than the drivers. It was our first show in the last, in months. So, you know, once we get working together and stuff, and we're going to just get nothing but better. But, you know, you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Just like with, you know, but for what happened, for what went down, again, man, I mean, thanks to all the drivers, all the Timmy and Ryan and all the specialty crews, the tow trucks and all that stuff that was just on the spot and on the, you know, just I can't even believe it still how fast it all come together, and it was just an awesome show, great racing, and we're glad we had people join us, and just happy to be going.
We did, and a lot of great comments on the pay-per-view side, and we had issues, and we worked them out, and we had a lot of great people helping us work it out. So it's great. In the modified feature, boy oh boy, I've seen Michael Long race a lot. When I lived in Indiana, he'd come over there, run his UMP car and dirt car, whatever you want to call it, and he jumps into that IMCA modified. I didn't expect that out of him. Did you, Brett?
I didn't either. Especially with who he was running against. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Jeff Ike had trouble in a heat race and ended up to be main, so he kind of took him out of contention. But Gasman Carter, I mean, that guy can win anytime. So it just, yeah, for him to, and even Spencer Dirks dropping down from the late model and the modified, he was running good. So.
Yes, sir. He finished ninth. Spencer Dirks did. As far as we gave you the rundown. The best local driver finish, Austin Howes out of Memphis, Missouri, finished in the number 8 spot. But you take a look. That's kind of a who's who of racing right there. You got Michael Long, who I said is good on both the IMCA and the dirt car side. Chris Simpson, Gasman, Caden Carter, as Brett mentioned. Tom Berry, he had a good run when we saw him in South Dakota. Kelly and I saw him in South Dakota. And then Denny Eckertz gets 5th.
Yeah.
Hey, so it's kind of a who's who of racing right there.
Right up in there. Yeah, just.
Colin Hibden, 16 years old, out of Pahrump, Nevada, and he'll be hanging around the Ike camp the rest of the summer. And then Ethan Braxma had a good run. He had to win a B main to get into the feature and ended up 10th.
Yeah, he ran up through there. I don't remember which announcer said it, but when the B mains were on there for the modified, it's like this is a Saturday night feature about anywhere you go.
We said that on the broadcast as well.
A lot of good cars went on the trailer and went home, and it's not because they had a bad night. That was the talent level there. You know, there was good talent.
Corey Peterson brought that up on the broadcast. And man, this would be a feature at any other track.
Yeah,
so
absolutely,
it's amazing. And so we talk stock car modified over on the sport mod. Man, what a finish! Oh. Cody Thompson. You know, I thought we saw him get third up at Raceway Park in Jefferson, South Dakota, and he wasn't really happy with his run and that kind of thing. Man, he already has 7 wins on the year. He started out in Arizona and Texas, and looked like he had the field covered. And then Bibster, here comes Brayton Carter.
Oh, I know. I was watching it on the screen, and I'm like, oh, this is about to happen here. Like, and on the screen, I'm thinking about 4 different things. Like, what's the next? Should we go to the next shot, or what can we do? And I'm like, oh, we're about to have this happen right now. Like, we're either gonna wreck. Like, I'm hitting the replay button for a wreck, or it's like something bad. And then I heard you guys are announcing. I'm looking at AJ, like he's getting this shot. I'm like, this is here we go. Yeah, I mean, it's a whole. It was absolutely picture perfect, like what you want to see. I said the only bummer part about it is we didn't have the fans, because you normally.
Oh yeah,
what's so much fun about dirt track racing you don't think about is that you can hear. As when you don't have to be that close to the track and hear the fans start shouting, and when there's someone passing, I'm like, I can just imagine there wouldn't have been a butt on a seat for that last corner pass.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, it was. They were going on lap traffic that stayed right. Needed to do exactly what he had to do.
Yeah, he held his line. He did what he did, how he's supposed to do it.
Yeah, but it was just a matter of that's the way the timing worked. 5 more laps, like you said before we started the podcast. 5 more laps, totally. I mean, I think that would have been. it would have been trading slide jobs back.
I don't know who would have ended up winning.
Yeah.
But yeah, 5 more laps. I would have been even 2 more laps. That would have
half
been,
a more.
Well, I got to see Logan Anderson run all last year down at CJ. He was track champion and all that. Started 15th in that feature. 5 more laps, he may have won it
That
because
is
he was
true.
coming.
and Ben Chapman right behind him. I mean, he was.
Yep.
I believe he was the hard charger.
Yep.
You know, if he would have started up closer to front, he would have been right in there with him. So.
He went up 13 spots.
Yep.
And
So-
he snuck up there because we didn't really notice it, and then it was like we were watching the King of the Hill, and we're like, oh, Ben Chapman's in fifth.
Ben Chapman made it.
Like no one just got it.
But you know, he's got that good blood in him. He's got that Chapman
Chapman blood sure does.
Those guys know how to get around racetracks. So.
Sure did. And Kelly, we were watching all those, watching the sport mods, and there wasn't one, one bad one up there in the top 5. Any of those guys could have won that thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was just great racing, great everything. It was unbelievable. I really enjoyed that King of the Hill. I think we should do more of that. That was the first time I've ever seen it. I don't know why we should do that like once a month or something at these tracks.
That was cool.
I would sponsor that if anybody wants to do
Hear
that.
that?
I would sponsor
Well,
that.
if you
You
want
and
to
Nathan
sponsor
Hall.
something, bring back the Australian Pursuits.
There we go.
I
I don't know
love
what
those.
that is.
Okay, this
Okay.
is cool. This is cool. So, well, actually, Rob, you've seen it before. You two have
Yeah.
seen it. So explain, because I heard about it and I want to see this.
Well, and back in the day, they used to run them every Saturday night at Eldon Raceway down in Eldon, Iowa. And but what it is, you start single file. The race starts single file. You get the green flag. They go 6 laps, 8 laps, 10 laps, whatever. But when you get past, you're out. So you could be the leader, get past for the lead. You're out of the race. Not only do you drop back to second, you're out.
Yeah, you're done.
And then whoever's up front after the 8 laps or whatever. So the guy coming 8th, he could pick off 7 cars and be the last car on the racetrack. Is the way it works.
Interesting.
So once you get past, you're out.
I think there'd be a lot of people that like to see that. They used to do it a lot, and I haven't seen one. I've never seen one live. I've seen them, on videos and stuff. But I think it'd be cool to see it live.
Out in California, when I lived out west, they tried to do it with a sprint car, and 4 of them ended up on their lids. So that didn't work out too well. But
Yeah, I will say, because that was, there was some pretty gutsy moves done during the King of the Hill. We didn't have any, nothing was getting too crazy, but there was a few of those moves. I'm like, ooh, here we go. Like, we're about to.
Hey, Ethan Braxma just joined, and Ethan, great job the other night, buddy. And we saw you come up and win the B main, and then end up with a top 10 finish in the modified feature, and that 111 was hauling.
Yes, it was.
So congratulations, Ethan, on a great run the other night. Who is Puddin'? Terry Ryan is asking, how about Puddin's Thrill Show? I don't know who Puddin' is.
I don't know who
Terry,
Puddin' is
enlighten
either.
me here.
Yes.
And I heard Jerry Mackey talking about it.
Well, then it's got to go way back.
It's
if
got to go
Terry
way
and Jerry
back.
are talking
Yeah, right. Well,
It's
it's
gotta go
me.
back
It's got to
before
be
most of us.
It's got to be back in my day, but I don't know who it is. But we'll get enlightened on that, I'm sure. And you betcha, Ethan. Thanks for tuning in too, and thanks for coming down to Donaldson. The Newton, Iowa driver, except there were way too many number 11s and 32s, weren't
Yep.
there, Brett Severson?
11s, 32s, 1s. A couple of them were 146, but listed as 1. Yeah, it was. And, I always try to watch them in hot laps. I'm like, okay, I can see the differences in that car. So there was only one that the 11F, I think it was Dan Fowler.
Fellows, yep.
Yeah, I did tell him, hey, I need you're in a stacked heat with all 11s, so I'm gonna need something. And he did. He put a big F on there, and
Oh, Kyle Madden. Yep, Kyle Madden is Puddin'. I did know that.
Okay.
And I announced him at CJ also, but yeah, Kyle Madden got upside down. Nice little easy roll.
Yeah.
So, but it took him out for the night.
yeah, I did. He was done.
Yep.
I think that was one that Ike got involved
Yep,
in as well.
Ike was involved in as well. Right, and I think that was right after the rain delay. So, or a couple races after the rain delay.
Yeah, that was.
But yeah, and the rest, again, the top 5 in the sport mods, and you talk about Logan Anderson, that was the white number 53, started 15th. And I told Corey, I said on the broadcast, I said, watch him come, because he was point leader all year long down at CJ, and you know how IMCA, they invert, and they invert by points. And so he was always starting 10th or 12th or something like that. And right there at the end. So I said, watch him. And then, but Ben Chapman, boy, what a drive he had.
And he's kind of the same thing. He was point leader, first or second up at Davenport.
Davenport,
all
that's
year
right.
last year. So, in fact, I think they went in. Him and Jerry Miles went into the last night tied.
did.
So,
Yeah.
so he's used to coming through the field. So, and like I say, he's got that Chapman blood in him. His dad did it for years. He watched his dad do it, and he's going to be just as good, if not better, than his dad later down the road.
Absolutely. Hey, Kelly, your overall impression on the racetrack itself?
Oh, I love it down there. And the people who are running it are awesome too. I mean,
Top notch.
That track is nice, man. I can't believe I haven't been down there yet. I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, I had never been down there before.
That was my first time.
That was so then the table's the same. It was my first time too.
Well, those guys down there, they welcomed us in.
Yeah.
Here's everything. Here's use
No,
it.
they were fantastic.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about camera angles and, kind of where we can put things. And we've had tracks that have been like, well, we don't want you putting something there. And he was like, well, you sign our waiver, you can kind of wherever you want to go. And I'm like, okay. All right. Now, I'm also the one that's not down there with them, so I'll be like, hey, so let's put something down there. We had one time our speed shot on the front stretch. It was during the modified feature. If you didn't get the pay-per-view, you can go back and get the you can buy
replay.
Buy the replay. There's one spot where I thought that camera was getting hit because it was a tail section, and I'm like looking at it, and I had it on our main feed, and I'm like, oh, here it goes, like we're about to lose this camera, and it did. I was like, all right, cool, go.
Oh, we made it.
Made
I was
it.
like, we didn't kill Kelly's stuff yet.
Well, I did have one set up on a tire for a minute.
You did.
I did.
And I don't know why we even let it get that far. We knew that they were going to move those tires back to the racetrack, but it still would have been cool on the.
Well, it's going to be cool. We're going to do it.
But you know what? That tire took a beating, though. We're going to put it on the third turn, and that tire took a beating all night long, didn't
Don't
it?
put it on the
It'd be
third
cool,
turn.
though.
Yeah.
Great footage.
I'll go back to what did NASCAR used to do, the gopher cam.
Yeah,
down in
gopher
the track
cam.
somehow.
There's some footage and
We could have almost done it there
We
because they
could've.
had grates that were just off the
They
track.
could've.
We could have gotten
like
a
tucked
camera
everything.
there.
We
Yeah.
have
that'd be
some
cool.
footage, and I have to play with it still from
It was our
Cocoa
first
last
race,
year.
guys.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Just wait.
Yeah, you thought that was
We're
cool.
bringing it this year.
We
I had
didn't
a lot of plans.
even break out the drone the other night, so you just wait.
No, yeah, we're bringing it this year. I've been talking about it for a while, so we're just
Yeah.
getting started.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
It sure is. Our On the Table brought to you by Bipster Promotion and our Guess the Driver brought to you by Dunright and Dish. Some more clues. We don't have any guesses yet. And our first two clues, well, actually our first two clues. He was a racer the other night down at Donaldson, and his racing hero is Gary Webb. He's been racing now. This is his 21st year. And he lists one of his favorite racing memories as a big win in Shawano, Wisconsin. So there's the next one.
Your paper.
Yeah, and flip my paper before everybody zooms in to look for the answer. So again, his racing hero is Gary Webb. He was a racer at Donaldson the other night. He's been racing. This is his 21st year, and one of his favorite highlights is a big win in Shawano, Wisconsin. And we'll give you some more clues later. Brought to you by Dunright and Dish. Tech Tip brought to you by Simply Modified. Simply Modified, our buddy Jacob, the official photographer at Maquoketa Speedway. And the tech I wanted to talk about is because some people, and I noticed on my race pass, and then we were told one thing, that was not sanctioned the other night, correct?
No.
Okay.
That was wide open. It was IMCA rules, but it was not sanctioned.
Okay, and so people were asking. They say, "Well, on my race pass says IMC." You know what? That's just because they were using the Cedar County Raceway, and it was a lot easier. And so,
And most of dark side races are not sanctioned. They'd like to get some sanction, but it's hard to do because of you don't run every week.
Roger Winkers, you animal, he got it.
He did. Oh, he got it. Yeah, he did.
Bone Larson is the answer.
Bone,
Oh,
okay.
Roger.
Wow, Roger Winkers, congratulations, buddy. Yeah, and but you don't have to come to Dunright. We'll make sure you get the T-shirt as the season goes on. Roger, all the way up in Wisconsin himself, he guessed that Jeff Bone Larson is our driver of the week. So congratulations, and a couple others guessed, but Bone Larson our driver of the week. So as we talk about the tech tip, and again, Corey did a great job on the broadcast of describing the difference between a sport mod and a modified, and some people, will still get that mixed up. But as far as if you want to see the speed, I think the modified is what you're looking for.
Modified would be your speed cars there, unless the late models are there. And I really would think that they're going to be closer than everybody thinks.
I think especially now with, well, at least on the IMCA side, where with the crate rule, they're basically running the same motor.
Yeah.
The rear ends are different; they can run a little bit different tire. But for most of the tracks around here, for what they can utilize and put down, they're going to be pretty
Yeah, I think
close.
so.
You know, it's not going to be. You're going to have a stopwatch to be able to notice it. It's not
A bigger track might be different. Donaldson might be different
Yeah.
because it is bigger, but yeah, the modifieds they definitely are the fastest ones out there. And like we were talking last year at one of the Dark Side races, they did a King of the Hill where the Sport Mod guy came out and raced the modified, and it was a very close race. So I mean, these guys aren't far off from each other the way they sit now. So. And the stock cars, I would be willing to bet that they're going to be right up there with them too. But
Yeah, I think there's because you can think too, like a sport mod, it's going to have less power, but it gets to have a wing.
yeah,
So it's going to have it's going to have more downforce. So depending on how you can set up and how you're running, you're going to be pretty close.
and if the track's not a horsepower track, it could come in for a mod or a sport mod. So
Yeah, it's exactly. I don't know how many weeks last year. I mean, being that when I was crewing with Derek, very few tracks are open motor tracks, and when you're running an open motor program and we were chasing chassis issues all year, not a fun time because you're like, yeah, we might have the most horsepower in the world, but we can't lay it down.
yeah, if you can't put it on the track, you're not
We're
going
getting
anywhere.
passed by a straight up truck motor like down the backstretch. Like, what is going on? Come on.
Yep.
Well, and one of the differences I know is the different crate. The Sport Mod I think can run the 604 and the modified runs 602. Does that sound right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, and then a couple other changes, but they're fun. I mean, sport mods. Since I've moved back here, has actually turned into my favorite class. I love watching the sport mods, and boy, Kelly, we get a ton of sport mods at some of these racetracks.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there.
And,
Sure.
and that was the most. The other night had to run 6 heat races of sport
Yeah.
mods.
Yeah,
That's awesome, man. It's great. It's great to see them all out there for sure.
6 heats, 3 B mains. It was like, sometimes we're lucky to get 3 heats at a race, on a regular weekly racing, let alone 3 B mains just to get to the.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think a lot of those guys go to that because it's not as much money as a modified. And I know there's some guys that probably do have that much money, and it's a little bit more money than a stock car. Probably not much. Probably not as much as we think. And if you do it right, you can get an old modified chassis from a guy and do it a lot cheaper. And
And if you don't run that many different tracks, because I mean the big difference, the one of the main, at least cost wise difference between a modified and a sport mod is your quick change rear end, which is, and there's a lot of kind of talk about this because if modified runs the quick change,
Right.
So you spend $2,500 on your rear end, then you spend like $70 on every gear set. A sport mod runs a traditionally like a Ford 9 style, like with a third member. So yeah, your gears a lot, or your rear end as a package is cheaper, but it's like $500 every gear set. So
yeah,
it's,
and even use your $300 where guys are selling quick change gears for $60-$70 on the internet.
So there's a lot of talk of, well, if you try and have a lot of gears, and the advantage is for modifieds, we've made gear changes like 2 minutes before we're supposed to be in the for the feature, versus going, oh, we got to pull axles out. So, and that's kind of the one big difference is, so if you don't change tracks and your track is usually kind of close to the same, you're going to be able to be a lot cheaper with a sport mod. But if you're going to be doing a lot of changes, it might be time to.
right.
I had the motor switched around. It says 602 for the sport mod
okay,
and 604 for the
thought that,
modified.
but I
Yeah,
couldn't
nope,
remember.
yep. And,
I'm not a tech guy.
And me neither. Thanks Nick McCready and Kevin Schroeder for setting us straight on that. 602 crate for a sport mod and 604 for a modified. I was and I told this story on the broadcast the other night. When I was growing up in Davenport, I had relatives in Missouri, and we were down there all the time. It was my mom's sister, and so my cousins were there, and we'd go down, and the road that goes by the fairgrounds, that used to be Highway 218. Not the big four lane that we all came down, and so we'd come down and go right by Donaldson, and it looked like a big old track from the outside back in the 70s and the early 80s, and I still believe that it was a half mile at one time.
It almost has to be as wide as it is.
Yes.
And they cut it down somewhere. And then, that's what I said. When I pulled in there, I was like, I love how wide. I wish our tracks around here were like that. 'Cause
Yeah.
you get some good corner action when you get 9 cars in there.
Oh,
and some of these classes will put 9 cars in there.
Uh-huh.
So, and you get that wide track. But yeah, I would agree that had to have been a half mile, and they cut it down at some point.
Yep, and that black dirt, boy, that holds the moisture, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. That rain actually helped us. A lot of people were worried about that rain. I think that rain put a better racetrack down there.
I think so, because I was looking into turn 1 right at the end of the hot laps and all that, and it looked to me that it was slickening off a little bit. I don't know how it appeared to everybody else.
3 and 4 looked the same way. It did. It's just there was just enough moisture, and we were just enough far along in the program that I really think. And even I think it was Brian Gaylord jumped up, the promoter down there, jumped up in that big tractor, and he said, "If I can do this, if I can get enough room out there to roll this in, that this racetrack's going to be better than it was." And they did. Like Kelly said, those guys were great to work with. They
For sure.
And they know what they're doing down there. They got that track figured out. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to meet him when I was down there, but heard absolutely nothing but good stuff, and they got a show coming up this weekend too. We'll talk about in our schedule part toward the end of the show as well. And so our tech tip is we discuss the modifieds and sport mods, brought to you by Simply Modify, the official track photographer of Maquoketa Speedway. Now, as we look forward, here we are again. After a heck of a roller coaster week and taking nothing away from the Gaylords. I know they have their show coming up. We wait to see what gets opened up, what gets closed down. But what do you think, Kelly? Do you see a light at the end of the tunnel, at least for the state of Iowa?
I do. It's hard to say what's going to happen with fans. I mean, we're fortunate to be able to race, and I get that we all want to go back to the track because I want the fans back just as much as everybody. But I mean, we're the only thing going right now, right? There's no baseball, there's no football, so I'm just happy to have something going, and we just got to keep being patient. We of course want everybody to be safe. We don't want anybody out there getting sick. So yeah, I see light at the end of the tunnel, and I think it's gone like it's opening back up slowly. I mean, South Dakota, now Iowa, we've done a race now. Missouri is doing some races. Maya's racing next week down by St. Louis. They're only letting 5 people in the pit crew, so I'm not going to be able to go this time. But I was looking forward to that. But hopefully sooner or later. But I mean. The bottom line is we just want to make sure that nobody's getting sick, and that we're doing it by as cool as we can, right? Because we don't want to just open it up and be stupid about it. We got to be careful. There is a virus out there, and there is stuff going on. So we just want to take the proper steps. But I think we're off to a good start.
A lot of people were asking, even on the during the broadcast. I went back and read some of the comments on the Done Right page and that kind of thing, and they're saying, well, why can't Burlington run? Why can't West Liberty run? And that, well, they're still in the lockdown state, lockdown counties. Muscatine County for West Liberty and Des Moines County for Burlington. They're both in the lockdowns, and now we see a little glimpse north, because north of Scott County is Clinton, that's open, and then Jackson County is open, and they've had race cars on the racetrack here recently.
They're still limiting.
Right now, I think
they're still limiting, right?
Yeah, they're still. I think they're counting, so they're not. They still have to keep the 10 or less, like their health board has said. So they're doing practices. They did practice Saturday. They're actually right now practicing.
Yep.
So, but I think like Kelly said, I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I think if we, and like I said, it hats off to, the dark side and all the races on Saturday, going by the books and everything. I mean, there was a big post about, we don't want to see any Facebook Live videos, which wasn't, as the people that were putting on the pay-per-view, a lot of people were like, oh, it was because you guys wanted. I'm like, no, it was because we just didn't, we had a bunch of eyes on us. We knew that everyone was watching our show to make sure it was good and to make sure it could go off without a hitch. Because I think if it, because it was able to go off successfully, some of these racetracks that are having races the next couple of weeks, they go, okay, that show went off fine. I think we can start to do that. And I think, that's what it needs to take. We don't need some racetrack tries to do it and says, yeah, bring fans in, and, it's this big ordeal. It's just,
and then all of a sudden everybody's shut down.
Yeah, and you never know how stuff gets manipulated either.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So that's the thing is we wanted to make sure that we keep it, because even when we were in South Dakota with Advantage, they, CBS was trying to get an interview, but I'm like, man, I don't know how we can all agree on the content that's going to be put out. So
you can't.
So, we just gotta, take it step by step, guys. We want you back in the stands too. Believe me. So this is the right step, and we're trying to do everything we could. The first week we wore masks the whole time. You know, we didn't have to down there because they had lifted that, right? You know, but there were still people wearing masks, and that's great. I mean, that's perfect.
Yeah, whatever your comfort level
if
is.
you're comfortable, you know, I support you. But
I was in a room with 5 people smaller than this table, so it's like, let's go.
Let's do it. And we were kind of in the same boat, even though we were out in the open, up in the bleachers, but our cords only reached so far.
Yeah,
So
yeah, we can only go so far. And in reality, you know, spending all last summer at dirt track, it's not always the worst thing to have a mask on because
No,
as you
it's
get home, you're
mask and
yep, Corey had his glasses on, and of course me, I forgot mine, but but anyway, it worked out well, and you know, and we made this point last week about the South Dakota track and the possible media coverage, and the track said no. So, and the track had a good enough relationship with the state that and it was a relationship that they had built in the past, because you know, Steve took over as the owner of the track, but he built up a relationship with the state where they had the highway patrol out on I-29, which was just a stone's throw from the racetrack, and because there was a threat by even the Sioux Falls media 70 miles away, they were going to come down and shoot from there, in the state patrol said
and I
no.
think CNN even had a little piece that they did nationally, and they were trying to say
they were trying to
some
debunk
stuff
it. And it wasn't.
And I'm like, man, you know, it is.
They
what
didn't
it
come
is.
out and say you guys did bad, but they said, well, don't you think? Don't you think? Don't you think?
Yeah.
And
We're like, yeah, we did think. And this, you know, there's a way to. I think what we were able to show Saturday night, and they showed the week before in South Dakota, was that there's a way to do it. And you know, granted,
Way to do it right. I'll say it.
Done
Yes.
right. There we go.
Done right. It was done right.
It was done right. And, you know, and being able to now, you know, 15 years ago, we didn't have all of this live streaming and being able to. I mean, yeah, you could put stuff on TV, but you needed a whole broadcast crew, and you needed semis of equipment, and you needed, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars to do in a race like this. Versus now, you know, and part of being a Speed Sport affiliate and being on with that team is we can bring these events for a lot. You know, we can bring them to fans for a lot easier than it used to be, and so it allows racers to still go out and race. Fans get to watch. Yeah, it looks differently. It's going to be, you know, it'll be before we know it. You know, by the time we're going to blink, it's going to be mid-June, and we're going to be all hanging out at racetracks together. So I mean, it's one of those.
And thank you for bringing up Speed Sport. I want to thank Chris and Nate for because they were coaching us. There was some things,
Wow.
and they're
They're unbelievable.
Yeah.
They are, and it's much more than hosting what we have with Speed Sport. I'm telling you, they're a great team, and they were in my ear, they were in your ear most of the night. They push us. You know, I don't try to push back. I just try to listen because they got 10 years of experience. You know, and but thank you. You know, it's just awesome to have the it's just amazing. I can't believe it. I'm humbled a little bit that, you know, we're surrounded by so many great people, man. And it's just amazing.
And they had big news last week too. I don't know if you were going to bring that up about the IMCA
Yes.
and Speed Sport. You know, just kind of if you haven't seen that, there's a post on Facebook, and I'm sure we'll get into it. But you know, it's just another avenue that they know what the situation is going to take, and they know what it's going to be. So, you know, it's just really fun to be part of that team and be a part of, you know, being able to kind of level up a lot faster. You know,
Absolutely.
Where we were last year when we were talking about doing this stuff, a lot of times it was Kelly and me up on top of a roof at a racetrack, like, you know, me with the one camera and a mic in my face, like, you know, I don't know what cars are out there. That one's 14, I think. I think that's 14. I can't tell. I don't have a list. You know, so to get to, you know, get a lot of, being able to level up years of experience in a matter of months has been a lot of fun. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I begged Kelly to let me help over the winter, and he goes, "Well, we'll see what we got going."
We wanted enough work, man. But now it seems like we're going to.
I think you're going to get it.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we're going to be okay, and I'm hoping we're going to get back down to Donaldson too, and I think that might be. In the
Yeah, there
future,
was talks this morning on the interwebs between Timmy and Brian Neal that says we will be back. So I'm sure.
Yeah, I can't wait.
You know, they may have took Sunday off, but I'm sure the gears are already moving in the dark side guys. So
Oh yeah, I think.
Well, I think they're practicing tonight up in Makokata. I think
Yep.
yes, they're practicing
Timmy
Makokata
is.
tonight.
Yep.
Yeah. So
And I think they're racing down there. They're going to go down to. Timmy's going to take his car down and support. I thought I saw that. So.
Yep.
And I will urge everybody. I know there's 2 big races this weekend, and I know Rob's going to probably bring them up. But I'd urge everybody, if you can, because of what they did for us, support them. Buy their pay-per-view this weekend. Absolutely. I can't do both nights. I'm going to try to do Saturday night. But they took a big risk. You know, like you were saying, the light at the end of the tunnel. If we would have screwed up this weekend, that could have very well screwed up their season.
Exactly.
They took a huge risk by letting us in. And I think Kathy Deloy said it on the internet as we were driving down. She said, all eyes are on you guys. Make us proud.
Yeah.
And you know, I think we knocked it out of the park. And But yeah, they took a huge risk by letting us do this.
Because it could have shut down this is their big weekend for, you know, a couple of people that wanted to change the track. You know, so for them to be able to open up, and like I said, from when we walked in the property, they were just like, hey, you know, what can we help you with? You know,
what do you need?
Yeah, and that was like, well, you know,
this is our facility, it's yours. You know, that's what they told us.
Absolutely.
Good. And Ryan Doomey just joined us a few minutes ago. Ryan, thank you, man. Can't thank you and Timmy enough for putting your trust in Done Right TV and
keeping that foot on the gas, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, we were all beat and all that, but if you would have came up with a race Sunday, we would have been there, man. It's an honor and a privilege to work with you. And the race is coming up as we take a look at the schedule. Donaldson, 2 nights of racing this week. Friday night, they're going to run the modified sport mods and sport compacts. On Saturday night, they're running late models, 305 sprints, and stock cars. And so either one of those nights will be fantastic. And then if you want to drive a little further, Memphis, Missouri has a 2-night deal as well. And as far as Team Done Right, I haven't heard where Tyler Soppy's going. I'm guessing he's going to Donaldson if he's running. But we know Jeremiah Hurst and Roberts Motorsports heading down to Federated Auto Parts Speedway at I-55 in Peevely, Missouri to run the Dirt Car Late Model Show down there. And they're also running modifieds and I can't remember. I think Sport Mod, UMP B mods. Yeah, UMP B mods down at I-55. And some of the tracks up in Wisconsin, a couple of them, I believe, are running as well. So just stay tuned. And did you hear about the NASCAR? NASCAR getting back on the track as of May 17th, which I did the math. That's a Monday. They're going to run Darlington, I believe, on May 17th. They're going to run 9 shows in 11 or 7 shows in 11 days or 9 shows in 17 days or something like that.
Yeah, it's
be like the old days.
Yeah, no kidding.
Racing 3 nights a week.
It's going to be like, and it basically every time they travel, it's going to be like capped with a cup race. Like they'll I think of Darlington's cup race, Xfinity truck cup race, and then Charlotte's cup race, Xfinity truck cup race to get it back in. And they've been doing the iRacing thing. This week they brought back North Wilkesboro. They actually got the track on. I know Dale Earnhardt Jr. was a big part of that. They got the track completely cleaned off so they could scan it and do all of it. So it's exactly how the race surface is. And they're going to be racing there on Sunday for the last of the iRacing, which has been, you know, all they could do. And it's been kind of fun to watch that as, you know, you have drivers, some of the younger guys like William Byron, Byron started on iRacing when he was 16 and never was in a car until he was in very high up.
And he's dominated now.
Yeah, he's a really, really good. And then you have guys, you know, like Clinton Boyer that's entertaining just for his commentary during the race.
Oh yeah, he's fun.
Yeah, so
no doubt about it. So that's what's coming up racing wise. Local racing birthdays. Hey, today, Jerry Mackey, we just saw you Saturday night. Happy birthday today, Jerry. Also, happy birthday today to Joe Bonney, our buddy up in Maquoketa. And we were hoping he'd have his stock car down at Maquoketa, but maybe it wasn't ready yet. And also celebrating birthdays this week, Rob Nyland. And he had a birthday. In fact, he was celebrating his birthday watching our pay-per-view the other night. He had a garage full, but he was under 10. According to Corey Peterson, he was under 10. Bruce Vosdick had a birthday this week, and as I refresh my page here, Matt Pecray also had a birthday this week. So some of our local racers getting into that. John Ryan, our buddy that flagged up at Dubuque last year, he had a birthday. Dustin Forbes, looking forward to seeing him again. And then a couple weeks ago, I actually saw him log in to our show, but he's the promoter of the southernmost dirt track in the whole United States. In fact, he's the owner down in Florida. Ken Kinney had a birthday this week as well. So happy birthday to all of our local racers, and thank you for what you do to keep our sport going. And so that's it. And you never know where we're going to be this time next week or before next week. Just stay tuned. Keep it on the Done Right TV.
Yeah, we have no streams planned Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Yeah. So if anybody wants to throw a race together,
Cough.
But well, you have, and just the last word on that, Kelly, is you have had a bunch of inquiries, though, haven't you?
Yeah, we have, and we're probably going to have a second crew before too long. So
Yeah.
it's exciting. Yeah,
Well, I've told Rob this. If I'm not working a race, I will come down and help you guys out anytime.
Excellent, and we look forward to that. And we have several others that are interested, and several others that we have thrown names out, and we're going to start contacting, see if they're interested, and we go from there. So we get to take a breath for now, but in 2 hours, who knows?
Yeah, I'll be
Never
halfway
know.
home and I'll see the chat. I'll see our group chat blow up. Oh, well, guess we're going there. That's how it was last
I'm
week.
betting you probably won't hear nothing for this weekend, but
Right,
I
no.
wouldn't be surprised
This
if you don't
weekend's
hear
pretty
something
packed
next
up.
weekend. So.
Yeah.
Yep, and all eyes will be on the governor. Last time she made the announcement on a Monday, and everything was half force to full force for that coming weekend, and that's kind of her next cutoff date is the 15th, which will be a week from this Friday. So Monday, I'm sure we're gonna hear.
I know a lot of the locals are kind of probably going to push it back a week just because you get the word on May 15th that you're going to race. Not everybody can do that in a day. So
Right.
We know
And-
some that can, but not
Yes.
everybody can.
Yeah. And well, and it's, you want to be, you got to, you want to get ready. And so if you can't technically be getting the track ready, this makes sense sometimes just to go that 1 week.
And
back.
I like Kelly said, these people are going to have to be patient. There's going to be a new normal for a little while.
Yeah.
it is.
We're going to do this without fans, unfortunately, for a little while. I don't see that opening up right away, but we can get back on track. Yeah. And as long as we keep going forward with it, you'll start to see the fans come in.
And I think if I remember right, last year was similar to this because we had a lot of rain on.
A lot of rain,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. All
And the
April.
year before, we missed
So-
almost the entire month of April.
And I think that's important that we keep our eyes and keep focused on that because we still have a whole season in front of us.
Yep.
If we play it right, I
Right.
mean, we got to do what we got to do, man. Because I certainly don't want to be the guy that screws this up.
Yep.
And makes
Me
it
either.
so there's no racing. Jeez, I don't know. I don't even know.
I mean, you're like,
say that.
I was worried. That
You don't want to be what's the guy's name that caught the foul ball in Chicago? Steve Boardman.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to be Steve Boardman, right?
I was saying that all the way down to Donaldson on Saturday. I rode down with Marshall Woolley. She scores with us, and I'm like, I'm scared. I mean, 'cause we could
I'll
we
tell
could
you what.
destroy this.
And I thought, we've been doing this for a minute, but also I had the same thoughts when I'm like, oh my God, here we go, we're getting ready to push this button, and it's just like, a lot of pressure, man, on all of us, on all of us that were involved, and I get, we had a little bit of a shaky start in the hot laps and stuff like that, but I appreciate everybody's patience, and let's just be patient. I mean, we're being patient too because we want everybody back in the stands as well, but. We just got to take it step by step, and we'll do everything that we can to help anybody out there. We just want to keep it moving forward and correctly. We got to make it done right.
Definitely.
There we go again.
And my last thought on that, and we did the pre-race show, and Alicia Harmoning was doing it on my phone, and I called her Victoria. So then I took crap for that.
Oh, you did.
I did. I took crap on social media for that, and so all I did on all of them, I just put hashtag Victoria forever. So Alicia, you'll always be Victoria to me instead of. I don't know where I came up with Victoria. I knew who you are. I know who your family is because I raced against Harmonings back in the day. So, but anyway, that was a lot of fun, and so Jenny Smith just joined. It's Victoria forever, Jenny. So Victoria forever. She just posted it. That's right. But
That's good.
good. Well, that brings the checkered flag out on this issue and this edition of Go Fast Podcast. It's been a great show. You can, of course, watch it on demand anytime on Facebook or on YouTube, and we'll get it up on the podcast forums here in the next day or two. And we'll just thank everybody.
And one more thing, too, guys. I don't know if it's up yet, but it should be. If you missed the race and you want to get the replay, doneright.tv. It'll be available for 30 days. So doneright.tv, the replay should be up. I will confirm that.
It's up. I checked
It's
this
up?
morning.
Okay, very
I was
good.
going to check, but I have.
So the replay is up if anybody would like to watch the race. And as always, man, we appreciate the feedback. We appreciate the patience. We want to hear. We want to do the best we can. I never take any of this stuff as harmful or anything like that. It's just feedback. we can't not jump in and be CBS or NBC Sports. We got to take our steps, and we're going to make some mistakes, but rest assured, we're going to push. We're going to push every day.
Yep.
We're going to keep pushing to get better. And Brett, thanks for coming in on such
Yes, sir.
short
Thanks for
notice.
asking. I mean, I was super busy.
So interesting.
Just like the weekend, I was, I don't know. Let me check.
Yeah, really.
Don't know if I got anything going on.
Can I make it there? I don't know. Well, I don't know. I got a guy on the other line wanting a set of white walls.
Got to mow my lawn.
I had to do that when I got home Friday because
I
I was
still
like,
gotta
I
do
needed to mow so bad. I'm like, well, I won't be able to do this Saturday.
Yeah. Well, I had to put mine off till Sunday because my new lawnmower didn't work, so I had to wait till
Well,
Sunday.
if you would have went racing, you would have had that lawnmower working.
Yeah, that's well. Actually, I had to order a part, so I was good. I got off the hook for that. So, well, thanks again, everybody, for joining us for Bipster, for Kelly Jeffries, for Brett Severson. I'm Rob Hinckley. Checker flag out on this edition of the Go Fast podcast, and you never know where we're going to end up between now and next Monday. Otherwise, catch us right here 1 week